After years of listening to Johnny Cash's One Piece at a Time, I couldn't stop picturing what that car might actually look like. The mismatched headlights, the odd tail fins, the patchwork of years and models. It all felt so vivid in my mind. That thought stayed with me for years, so I began sketching. At first, it was just rough outlines, but then the drawings grew into full storyboards, almost like a mapping out a film frame by frame. I found myself thinking about Ken Burns and the way he tells stories through still images and voice, creating a sense of movement out of something so static. I wanted to do something similar, but instead of just retelling the song, I wanted to show the whole journey, turning the music into a visual narrative that unfolds like a movie. From there, the project grew. I started drafting technical drawings, almost like an engineering blueprint of this Frankenstein Cadillac. Every angle, the front, with two headlights on one side and one on the other. The rear, with one tail fin missing, was mapped out with precision. These diagrams gave the car a strange sense of authenticity, as if it could roll straight out of a song and into the road. Once the technical sketches were complete, I pushed the idea further by transforming them into bold, poster-style visuals. The posters took on a life of their own, combining the raw humour of a song with the graphic punch of the classic American car advertisements. What began as a playful response to Cash's lyrics slowly evolved into a complete visual story. Part documentary, part artwork, part tribute to the wild imagination of the song itself. So with nothing more to add, I let the storyboards in the charcoal do the talking. After all, if Johnny Cash could drive a car one piece at a time, the least I could do is show you what it may have looked like without charging you the toll fees, registration costs, plane fares, and confused looks from the DMV. If you enjoyed my artwork, at the end is a link to my Redbubble and fine art photography page. Also a link in the description of my research. So I do hope you enjoyed this short film. Cue the music.
Well, I left Kentucky back in '49 and went to Detroit working on assembly line. The first year they had me putting wheels on Cadillacs. Every day I'd watch them beauties roll by, and sometimes I'd hang my head and cry, 'cause I always wanted me one that was long and black. One day I devised myself a plan that should be the envy of most any man. I'd sneak it out of there in a lunchbox in my hand. Now getting caught meant getting fired, but I figured I'd have it all by the time I retired. I'd have me a car worth at least $100 grand. I'd get it one piece at a time, and it wouldn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I come through your town. I'm gonna ride around in style, I'm gonna drive everybody wild, 'cause I'll have the only one there next day when I punched in with my big lunchbox and with help from my friend, I left that day with a lunchbox full of gears. I've never considered myself a thief, but GM wouldn't miss just one little piece, especially if I strung it out over several years. The first day I got me a fuel pump, and the next day I got me an engine and a trunk. Then I got me a transmission and all the chrome. The little things I could get in my big lunchbox, like nuts and bolts and all four shocks, but the big stuff we snuck out my buddy's mobile home. Now up to now my plan went all right till we tried to put it all together one night, and that's when we noticed that something was definitely wrong. The transmission was a 53 and the motor turned out to be a 73, and when we tried to put in the bolts, all the holes were gone. So we drilled it out so that it would fit, and with a little bit of help from an adapter kit, we had that engine running just like a song. Now the headlights, there was another sight. We had two on the left and one on the right, but when we pulled out the switch, all three of them come on. The back end looked kind of funny too, but we put it together, and when we got through, well, that's when we noticed that we only had one tail fin. About that time, my wife walked out, and I could see in her eyes that she had her doubts, but she opened the door and said, "Honey, take me for a spin." So we drove uptown just to get the tags, and I headed to ride on down Main Drag. I could hear everybody laughing for blocks around. But up there at the courthouse, they didn't laugh, 'cause to type it up, it took the whole staff, and when they got through, the title weighed 60 pounds. I got it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. You'll know it's me when I come through your town. I'm gonna ride around in style, I'm gonna drive everybody wild, 'cause I'll have the only one there is around. Yeah, Red Ryder, this is the Cottonmouth in the Psycho Billy Cadillac, come on. This is the Cottonmouth, and negatory on the cost of this machine there, Red Ryder. You might say I went right up to the factory and picked it up. It's cheaper that way. What model is it? Well, it's a 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 automobile. It's a 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66.